Okay.
Okay, we're starting to.
Hey y'all, welcome back.
Hey.
Hi, how you been?
I've been so good. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Good. Honestly, I've been loving our last episode.
Yeah,
It was
there's
so
so funny
funny.
bits in there.
And I'm so happy that we're doing us two again because it's just so fun.
Yeah. Oh my God, you just put such an immense pressure on me right now.
Yeah, like
I
now
feel
you
I
have to
make it fun.
You have to make it fun.
Okay.
I'm trying to find my notes where I wrote down like certain things that I wanted to write.
To say, but truth be told, the topic that we want to discuss today is not such a fun topic, whereas before it was kind of we wanted to discuss traveling stories and things like that.
Right.
So I think
it's juicy though.
Yeah, it's totally juicy.
Because we're talking about
fun
relationships. And not like we've been
you
in
didn't frame that right.
Well, what did I say?
Well, we're talking about friendships and friendships that have ended.
Yeah, like, well, it's really just because we're like in this stage in our life where, and I'm sure other 23-year-olds, 20s, you know, will relate to this, where you're kind of letting go of old friendships and you're into the stage where like I feel like you're really being who you are.
Yeah.
And we like touched upon this last episode when we talked about like teenagers and how like they really have no identity. And now we're in the stage where like we're really figuring out what we want to do. Like it's not all about the social stuff. Mm-hmm. So then like whoever's in your life is truly your friend. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it's just a weird landscape because before you had like institutions where you could be friends with people like school or something like that. So once you're out of those things, and it takes a lot more effort.
But you're in college.
Yeah. College is one of those places where it seems like you could resort back to the old ways of friendship, you know? But it's just
so you think that's what it
place,
is? That like we're not in social settings as much?
I think it's one thing that definitely helps that, you know? Because I think
the social pressure.
Yeah. What happens is once you're out of something of an institution like that, you have to start putting in effort into friendships. And then a lot of things come up like, oh, is that person putting up the same effort? Is this person a friend that I want to put effort into our friendship? And then all those questions start arising and then you kind of like figure out who those true friends are, you know?
Right. And also, yeah, it's also like because you're so busy with other things, like figuring out your career, what you want to do in your life, you kind of like only have time for like the friends that are just seamless.
Yeah. Although I feel like this is definitely your personal experience.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which
you're disagreeing with me is what you're saying? Very gently, my ass. You're like, I didn't disagree. It's like, I feel like this is your personal.
Oh, yeah. No, that had to be politically correct. But no, I think you're right.
Yeah, you're too used to like college, making sure you don't offend anyone.
I know.
You could offend me.
Rivka, you're talking nonsense right now. It's bullshit and I'm just calling you out on it. You suck. No, I think a lot of people experience that. But I don't know. I feel I don't know if you want to go on the whole like personal thing here, but you definitely become like a lot more self-dependent, like independent.
But don't you think that's growth?
I don't know. It's kind of like the journey that people go on when they get married. You know, there's just like this one person in their life that they really give everything to.
Right.
You good there?
Figuring out my.
I hate that, by the way. Also. When the coffee.
Why?
You have the best laugh.
Lately
ever.
with the podcast, I see myself. No, I hate how my face like completely contorts into. Is it contort the word?
Yeah.
Into like a different shape when I laugh. I go like. I don't know.
What do you want to happen? You want to be like the same face?
No, I want it to like.
How creepy would that be if you just had the same face and you were not smiling?
I try to look like this, like.
Yeah, you ever seen that? By the way, there's like that video of that person who was able to laugh without like actually smiling. It's freaking creepy. It looks like a horror movie.
No, that's creepy. That's how I'm talking about. But just the way my face changes is like weird. I don't know. I'm self-conscious about it. But anyway, sorry. What were you saying?
Dislocated your jaw. Why? I think that's the beauty of laughing and smiling. Your whole face like lights up. I'm saying yours and everybody's. I'm serious.
Okay.
No, but I also I'm also insecure about my laughing face, really? But not my laugh. I like my laugh, but my laughing face.
Thanks. When in seminary, you were like your room was like right below mine.
Yeah,
and I would hear you like die of laughter all the time.
What? I wasn't right below you underneath.
Oh, sorry, Frima was, but you were always like in their room.
Yeah,
like, and I would always hear you like laugh. Like,
yeah,
and I would always be like, "Damn, I'm jealous of that laugh."
That's so funny. It's like saying they'd be like, I wish I had that laugh.
But there was a time in your life when you were laughing at like everything. Do you remember that time in your life?
I don't remember that. Is that like what when you were constantly thinking, I want that laugh, I want the laugh, and you're like, damn, that person really laughs a lot.
Yeah.
That was me. But you knew it was my laugh. You knew it was me that was laughing.
I knew it was you. I could recognize it was you.
That's so funny.
But I feel like you were laughing, like always laughing at people. I feel like that was like your, back in the day, that was like your coping, not coping mechanism, but like way to make friends was just to like laugh.
Oh my God.
Not in a bad way.
No, but that's so
Is that true
weird.
no?
If I did that, that's so
Okay, I'm
so
totally
judgmental to my past self for doing that. That's so weird.
It's not a bad thing at all.
No, but that's so weird.
It's like your version of having fun was just like laugh and like.
Okay, but can you imagine if I saw someone just laugh, just came into my friend group and started laughing away? I'd be like, "What the hell is going on?"
But obviously, it worked out. Like you made friends. Like it's not like
it worked.
It worked.
It's a method that works.
That's a new method, guys.
Just go into any friend group and laugh away.
You know when they
don't even have to say funny, just anything funny. They just laugh.
You know when New Girl where she's like trying to get the bride the best man. She's trying to like go out with the best man. And
who?
Jess.
Okay.
And like Winston's just like biting his ass, which just means like just be there no matter what. Like just be like next to him. Don't even say anything. She just like follows him everywhere. Doesn't even talk.
There's just different methods to make friends.
Methods,
bad methods, but your method would probably just be yourself.
I mean, now, yeah. Back then, it was like slow. It was probably the Biden thing.
What's the Biden thing?
Just like sit there and like be there.
Just be there. Just be present.
Be part of it. You know.
I saw this.
Try to say something witty every once in a while without, but like take the low risk like jokes. You know.
The low risk. Oh my God! Always take the low risk jokes. Like if not,
but then it's the people who take the high risk jokes and don't care about it that are like.
They're like unattainable. You know, like I want them
on a different level.
Yeah. But I saw this TikTok, this really funny TikTok. It actually wasn't so funny. It really depressed me. There was this person, the background noise was people chattering away and like having fun. And you see this one person being like, when I'm listening to the conversation, the description on screen is like when I'm listening to conversations with people and I have something to add, but I have social anxiety. And he just like kept like kind of laughing and showing as if he like wanted to say something, but like cowering.
Right.
And somebody actually duetted the video just sobbing away. And she's like, this is so sad. And it really is, because I feel like we're so afraid to interject ourselves into any social setting. And the reality, like when you're in a group and somebody does that to you, like a person comes to your group and is like, hey, I'm just like, whatever. Like, that's like the coolest thing ever. Right, you know, you're like, oh my God, hi, come join us. But you're terrified to be that person.
It's so true. How come? I guess like the risk of like not being accepted by everyone is just like too scary.
I think social rejection is one of the strongest.
Ostriches.
Ostriches.
Ostriches? What is that thing called when you're like
the animal?
No, like
ostrich.
No. When you're like isolated
I know.
from everything.
Ostracized.
So
when you're ostracized, that's probably it's one of the toughest, biggest fears or something like that.
That's like they say like people are more afraid of like public speaking than it's probably comes to that, like the social rejection of it. People thinking you're weird, people thinking that you're not smart or like whatever. People
this taps down into like the most deepest evolutionary parts of our monkey brains, I think, when it comes to social. We did rejection. We do things constantly to prove ourselves and to prove our character, whether it's like real, like whether it's an actual good character trait or it's just a facade, if it's a reputation or something. We're constantly proving to people that, you know, they want us like to be around.
So do you think the goal is to just like be you no matter what other people think?
I mean,
it's, sometimes that's talking like the weirdos of society.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, I guess who you're talking to.
Right. Because like doing this is kind of that sentiment of like, we're doing this, we don't care what people think. But I'm sure people are like, wow, they're weird.
Yeah.
So like, and I don't want to be looked at as weird, but also I don't really care.
I think, but yeah, Steven Pinker has a book called How the Mind Works. Just like incredibly dense book that's basically impossible to read, but he kind of illuminates this point, and he says, just because you're programmed to do something and there's evolutionary benefits, or not even evolutionary benefits, if there's real benefits, like we're programmed to procreate and things like that and to spread our genes. But just because it's natural doesn't mean that it's good, or doesn't mean that you should follow that.
Right.
So I think that
just because something natural, which is something that is like a Hasidic concept for sure.
Yeah.
We all have natural instincts, and the goal is to like be above that.
Yeah. So we can all like agree that I feel like life is better when you don't judge people by like really stupid, arbitrary judgments, because I was having this argument with my mother, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Because she's like, they're not stupid, you know? Maybe they really mean something to people. And you're being judgmental by saying that they're stupid.
Okay, interesting.
And
she flipped the switch.
She flipped the switch on me. And then
gaslighting.
By the way, I'm like, you're gaslighting me. She's like, stop using that word. Everyone is,
like, you're gaslighting me about using the word gaslighting.
We just started gaslighting each other with the gaslight.
Then it's like real gas.
Come on, man. Fine. Someone literally brought out a gas. Just shh. Light it up.
You want to see gaslighting? I'll show you gaslighting.
I'm so excited for Hanukkah. That really just reminded me of Hanukkah.
Why?
Hanukkah's 14 days away, right? 14? 2 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. It's funny for me. It's been like literally. Okay, what am I trying to say? Hanukkah has felt so close because I'm planning it for my Chabad house. I'm helping like plan it and run it, everything.
Like a Hanukkah party or
like the different Hanukkah parties, our public menorah lighting, all that.
Yeah.
So it's been like, oh yeah, it's like next week. Also, we have like somebody on our team, you know who you are, who's like super. It's good because he's like very, very advanced, and me and my sister and like my mother. I mean, my mother not so much, but like we're more last minute.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, we have to put out the flyers. If it was up to me, I would do the flyers next week, figure it all out next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Hanukkah has felt like really soon.
Okay. Well, yeah.
That was my entire point.
What are you?
But what were you saying with your mother? Can you finish that point?
Yeah. No, so she was just saying that so some things might not seem stupid to me. Might seem stupid to me, but might not be stupid to other people. Those kind of standards that they judge people by. So if somebody's going against the social fray, they're all of a sudden some sort of, there's something they can't predict anymore. There's somebody who won't do, you know what I mean? What's expected of them or something. Rules. Exactly.
Right. And it's funny.
It could be like the micro rule, right? Like we're not, like, for instance, we're not going out and we're not killing people in society like that, whatever.
We're not.
But we're not. I don't know why that came to my mind. we're definitely not stealing.
Robbing banks?
No.
Tomorrow?
Don't talk about it. Don't.
When we actually get the police like knocking on our door.
By the way, you hear the sirens.
I would literally be like celebrating because that means our podcast is so big that, you know, like it got to the cops.
I guess so. What's if there's just one cop named Rob that listens to our podcast and he's like,
oh,
those girls, I knew they were in trouble.
I've been out to them.
Yeah.
Anyways, but it's funny that I had the conversation with another part of kind of that argument where my mother was telling me about how we're like in it, where you have to understand that like you're in a stage where in general with relationships, you have to like give up stuff or compromise for the other person. Like as much as we want to be our own people and like not change or like just be us no matter what.
Yeah.
There's still a world around you and people around you that you have to accommodate towards.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where this conversation is really like interesting, confusing. Like how much, because everyone like adapts to society and has behaviors because of society and because of society's expectations and all that. So where does it become like, I'm being me no matter what?
An infringement on your personal identity and when
Exactly.
you're actually, yeah, for sure. That's along the same lines of what my mother was discussing, where it's like,
right.
You know, you have to be able to converge those two identities, your communal and your individual identity.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem for me always arises when you're continually undermining the individual. And I see it as a continuous problem in communities where individuals are able to express themselves and be themselves in the most, what I think I would demure, I don't know if that's the right word, but in the most like simplistic or beautiful of ways, right? Like in ways that to me will better our community or better society, but according to somebody else might be those judgments that my mother was saying, like, seem stupid to me.
Right. And that's why I think what your mother's saying is true in a sense where like remember we had that discussion with Khani about like other people judging you and you just like get so frustrated about it. But maybe the right approach is to be like, okay, so they think I'm doing something wrong and I could have a conversation with them about it or not. But I don't think I'm doing something wrong, so I'm just going to do what I do no matter what judgments. But also, this also kind of brings back to the whole relationship thing about moving on from relationships. Like, when do you, this is something that we faced recently. Like, when do you say, like, no, I'm going to be even if though this friend is not treating me right, when do I stick with them? And when do I like be like, hey, no, this is not for me, and move on?
Like, I think about that a lot, actually. And I know we disagreed, but I don't know, because I feel like there's a large push in society to just disown toxic people and just, shutter them to the side because they have to be taught that they can't be their toxic selves. And I think that there's definitely something to that. But I think a large measure of what makes a good friend is somebody who will stick by you even in times when you're a really, really shitty person. And when you're that is the character of our relationship, I think.
But here's the thing. It was never at a point where like you were abusing me emotionally or like getting to a point where
it's just a matter of finding those points.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I think the point is exactly, the answer is in what we were talking about with judgment, where like when it becomes too much of an infringement on who you are, or like you're functioning as like a person feeling good about yourself. Like if you're in a relationship and you're constantly feeling undermined and like, and just not like yourself, I guess, then maybe that's a point where you're like, you need to let go. And not in a way where you're like burning bridges. And that's another thing, like the burning bridges thing. Like you don't have to, if someone's being toxic with you right now, you can distance yourself. And then you can always revisit it. Doesn't mean like you have to like be like, okay, that's it, we're done forever.
Right.
So
I think that's something that, at least in my experience, I learned as I like realized that relationships sometimes don't last the way, or don't go in the direction that you want them to, which is to hopefully last forever. Like there's more of an acceptance that that's a normal thing that happens, and that's not something I have to blame myself that happened, and that you don't necessarily, it doesn't have to be a like monumental blow up. It's just, okay, we just ended things. And it could be like, oh, hey, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while type of thing. Like that could happen.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's sad, obviously.
There's a real sad character. Oh gosh.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I just want to close up the previous point and then we'll talk about the sadness of it. But like, just like, I guess the balance is finding like a point where it's like too much on you. And personally, and you could disagree with me, but personally, I don't think that you need to like burn the bridges and totally like cut this person out of your life, but you can distance yourself. I think that's probably the healthiest way to do it, so that if this person needs you again, or if they were just going through an unhealthy stage in their life, they know they can come back to you.
And I also think I agree, but there's so much specificities that go into what you're saying. And of course, every scenario is going to be so different. I know that it might not really work, that message, for somebody, let's say, who has a friend who they're trying to be in communication with or trying to contact, and that person is really just not like giving anything back to them. And so you're that person that's just trying to reach out. And so I feel like for that kind of breakout or breakup, it's just a matter of like stopping and just like, that's it. You know what I mean? Can you like that's what I'm saying. There, relationships where there's one person who's constantly giving, and that person gets to the point where they're like, I shouldn't be the only one giving here.
Right.
And then the thing is, the problem is the person doesn't even recognize that. So once they let go, it's okay. Yeah. Like they're like,
and of
goodbye.
course that's a tougher situation than if you're instigating the end of the relationship. Like being the person who's like broken up with kind of is harder. But at the same time, like, if you're healthy enough, or I think people should work on themselves enough to have that expectation of like, okay, sometimes friendships end and this friendship doesn't define me. And by the way, this like goes also hand in hand with the conversation of like, you've had a friend since high school and now you're in really different places in your lives and you're just not invested in the relationship anymore. Like, what are you supposed to do? You have to hold on to the friendship?
I guess the scenario that I'm playing out in my head is one where there's two friends. And one friend is just a person who's constantly reaching out, constantly giving, constantly showing up for that other friend. And the other friend just kind of receives all of that. What's the right word? Benefits.
I mean, like I'm speaking out of a situation where I had that, where somebody was like giving too much.
Yeah.
And it was overwhelming for me, and I communicated to it.
Well, then that's the only thing I would want you to do.
Right. But it was very difficult and it took a long time.
Yeah.
And maybe at that time the person was like, wait, why did you like lead me on? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why were you in this friendship for so long?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm trying to speak for the people who are on that side where it's like
figuring it out.
It's you don't know like
yeah
what at what point it became overwhelming or like, you know,
mm-hmm.
and you just want to be like a nice person that people, but some people don't see the cues of like, okay, maybe I'm investing too much. As an individual, every person also has to take care of themselves, and the giver, as much as the receiver has a responsibility, so does the giver. So does the person more invested in the relationship. You know, it's like somebody who's like super kind, and then they just get like taken advantage from everyone.
Yeah,
like who is it on? It's on both. People shouldn't take advantage of kind people, but kind people shouldn't say, no, it's okay, I'll do whatever you want.
So I guess this is kind of like a really zoomed in example of like the community the community individual conversation we were having earlier.
Right, like the judgment thing.
Yeah, where it's like at the end of the day, you as an individual have to look at yourself and, I don't know, kind of set boundaries and stuff. I agree. My sister is far too nice for her own good. And she experienced a couple things this past couple weeks where her niceness had to come into question. You know, people like her usually always go around the world and get taken advantage of because of their gentleness. She was literally not attacked, but physically, but she was verbally,
oh my gosh,
assaulted, like in an anti-Semitic attack. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary.
Yeah.
Did you see
someone
like, the
literally
new things Kanye was saying?
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah,
the man
that's
is
insane.
The man is going.
Why was he wearing
bonkers.
like a mask on his face?
I didn't see. He was wearing a mask.
He was on Alex Jones's show podcast. I don't know what it was.
What? Alex Jones still has the thing?
I think so. Yeah.
Where's it on?
I don't know. Well, Twitter is now. I mean, by the way, Twitter banned Kanye, which is just cool, I guess.
I was joking about this with my brother, where it's like, because Elon Musk was probably like, "Fine, listen, Kanye, we'll let you back on, but just be normal." He's like, I'm not gonna say any. Like, just let me back. It's like, you can come back on. Goes back on. Hitler is the best. Like,
there's just a video of Kanye being like, well, this is the thing. Like, I got screwed over by, I'm not going to say which media. I'm not going to say which owners. It was the Jewish media. It was Jewish doctors.
Yeah. That video is so funny.
But so what you're saying about your sister? So she got verbally attacked.
Yeah, she got so someone said, "Is this girl a Jew?" And my sister was like, yeah, I'm a Jew. And she's, "Oh, I hate Jews." Like, just to her face like that. Which is which is pretty shocking. And my sister's still not the type to just say something or create a problem. But you know, after discussing it with us, obviously we filed a report and all that, and it's just just like I guess an example of somebody who's too nice that has to figure out to not be too nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's too much, like in the like, okay, whatever. Like apathy. Like type of thing. But yeah, so like with that, like it's like sometimes everybody has to take care of themselves. I think that's the best way to be like for yourself. Like just always take responsibility for yourself, because the second you start blaming other people for your problems, it just goes like, then nothing's on you, and then nothing's gonna change for you. You're just gonna always be complaining about how this person screwed you up, and maybe it's true, but that doesn't matter. It's not gonna help.
Yeah, well, a lot of times it's not true, where somebody else is the cause of the problem. You know what I mean?
But if somebody else is the cause of the problem, what can you do to change your predicament that you're in now? That's what I mean. Yeah. It's kind of like Viktor Frankl's whole idea. Yeah. It's like you're literally in a concentration camp. How can you be free? Yeah. It's not your fault you're in a concentration camp. Like, he's literally oppressed, and most people, like, it's okay for everyone in there who was like, we're giving up, we're dying, like, this sucks, you know? But he was like, well, I'm gonna be free. Yeah. Which is wild. It's a crazy choice. Yeah. I mean, I carried around his book for the longest time, because it's just such an incredible mindset. I don't even understand how someone could think that, especially in the situation that he had. Right. You know, where he basically explains that you have the chasm between stimuli and reaction. Like, you have the power to figure out how you want to react to whatever situation is going around. Between the stimulus and the response lies your choice. Yeah. But
I mean, it doesn't feel that way. Maybe age allows you to get that distance that you need.
Right.
Maybe maturity is widening the gap.
I was listening
those
to
two.
a podcast that somebody was saying that like she recently turned 25.
Yeah.
And she finally like feels the difference.
By the way,
that's wild, no?
Yeah.
That like you can, that 25 all of a sudden.
By the way, I've been like,
lobe.
that's what they say. That's what people are saying. Like you get a whole new level of consciousness when you're
wild.
25. So I'm kind of looking forward to that number now. Whereas
Yeah.
before I'm like 25. Ah.
Right.
25 seems legit. Do you know what I mean? 25 years
30.
on the book. 30 is like an unknowable number.
It's downhill from there.
Can you imagine being 30?
But I feel like most people are like established by 30, which is cool. But obviously you have to work now to get there, but
so much stress.
it's stress because then, yeah. It is stress that like everything you do now affects your future.
Every
That's
little
stressful.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you like, but at the same time, like you don't want to like not live in the moment.
Yeah.
So like, what do you do?
Just stress out.
Just live in between and stress.
Just stress out always.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something on the whole choice. Oh, is The Choice the book like from Edith Eger or what's her last name?
Yeah.
Is that about that idea also? Because I just started reading it, but
Oh, I would have to recall it. I don't remember. Like what her philosophy of the book was. I just remember that she recounts like her experiences and in the concentration camps and her family. I don't remember.
Yeah, but I was also thinking about the other day that like the more you can choose your behavior, the more you can choose like how you react to things and all that thing, like I feel like the more healthier you are, you know?
Yeah.
The more choices involved in your thing.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of like your mind has to be almost twisted in a way that completely is in line with reality as much as it can be in order for that to actually work. And I'll explain what I'm trying to say here. It's like someone has to actually really be tuned in to be actually self-aware, tuned into who they really are, tuned into their insecurities, tuned into what their ego is trying to tell them, know all of these things at once.
Right.
And
like all the different levels of themselves.
Yes.
Right.
And that is just like the life's work. That's a lot of work.
But it's also like too much pressure also, I feel like.
You can't do it all at once, obviously.
Yeah.
That's why it's life's works and it happens kind of slowly. But I don't think you can just tell someone, you know, your power lies in how you react, because it's like telling someone you don't know where that person is, who that person is internally, or where they met themselves internally either. And so they could be thinking that they actually are doing that, but they can also be, and if they say they're doing that and they're doing that, but the result of what they're actually doing,
they're just like
is bad, or it causes harm, then that message is not lying on the person that would have best absorbed it if it were somebody like who actually have done the deep psychological work that is needed.
Right. I think there's a few factors to it. Like there's one that you want to choose your reality. Most healthy people, or most people, want to just be happy and want to like not lash out and be angry and do bad things. And then there are people who want to choose to do bad things, and obviously that's the moral aspect of things. But I think there's two aspects to it. You know? You get what I'm saying?
No, can you explain it a little bit more?
Like you're saying that like if some person decides to choose what they're doing and they're like they've mastered the way of choosing, but the way that they're acting by choice is like literal like it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Then they're a bad person. I don't know. Then they have bad morals, and that's a whole different discussion of like how do we affect people's morals. But most people want to like do the good thing and do the right thing.
Yeah, I mean,
and emotions or like feeling insecure gets in the way of that. But when you feel like you can choose your reaction to things, usually people will act like good.
I don't think
know.
I mean, I also think that good and bad and acting morally is a huge,
that's what I'm saying.
It's a huge discussion of like what exactly what behavior that is. But I mean, I don't necessarily think that the voices or somebody has cleared the internal space so much that the internal mechanisms that give them the space to that give them the direction that, let's say, Viktor Frankl was hoping, or maybe not, like this is my own interpretation, was hoping that person would have, like the internal voice of reason, the internal voice of, I don't know, the motherly instinct, the fatherly instinct, or all of these, I guess, characters that we have. I mean, that's like, or already even like Freud, that's already that's like Jungian, but like whatever. I'm saying that space, but I just don't think. I mean, I think
like we don't know what's affecting us. You're saying, like,
yeah,
there's so many factors in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, so if you're thinking, okay, I'm in this space right now where I could choose right now, and then I just think that that's just one aspect of it,
Yeah, but it's like a muscle. Like it's not like you're gonna get it right away. You're gonna have to work at it, and then it becomes stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you're suddenly going to eliminate all the like external factors that make you act the way you do. But the more you practice it and work at it, you'll work that muscle. It's a skill. I think it's a skill. It's the best way to put it for me.
Yeah, I guess my point is not that it's about a skill. It's about, okay, it's a skill to think before you act, which is essentially another way of saying what Viktor Frankl is saying, right? Just think before you act.
Right.
But what is guiding your behaviors and thinking, that's just layers and layers of other things that is not really related to this kind of thing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
more about like acting out of like thoughtfulness versus acting out of like emotion.
The kind of thoughtfulness that you might think is like the commonsensical thoughtfulness that you should have once you have is not, what I'm realizing is not the type of thinking that somebody else will have. And that's actually something that I've come to recently, is that people just think differently because their internal mechanism, who they are, what their composite is, what their composite is, I think, or what they're made of, or what their experiences, their childhood, everything that makes them is different from what makes me, or whatever.
But the goal is to not let that control you.
No, it's not the goal. What I'm saying is people have different makeups. They have different ways of thinking. They have different things that chain of reason. They have different, emotional reactions to things. And not everyone is that's why when you find somebody who thinks like you, I think it's like it's not the coolest thing. I love when people think differently, but it's unique. It's a unique thing.
It's a unique experience. But the point is to not have. The point is, like you said, to have other people, to speak with people who think differently and to understand, because you're not supposed to just live like you're affected by all your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to live like controlled by everything that happened to you, because then you can be living out of trauma and fear and,
Yeah.
So I think that the idea is, what's the outcome that you want? That's really where the discussion is. Like, I guess everyone wants different outcomes, is what you're saying.
I don't know. Like, yeah, people could have different
outcomes. It's such
outcomes.
A nuanced conversation.
I know.
But
it's kind of like, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely complicated. I'm not a philosopher. I don't know.
We can
anyways,
gear the conversation away from, I guess, all of this.
I wanted to talk about
like a practical type of like relationships or something.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the like. So we talked about like consciously letting go of relationships, but I wanted to talk about like just like growing apart from people. I remember the first time it happened to me was between middle school and high school. Well, when I entered high school, I had a friend that like we were best friends, a group of friends, really, like two friends. And then like in high school, I kind of just like, I became I don't know how to explain it. Like between eighth grade is when like we met and I became friends with like your group of friends. I just like changed and I just like let go of that friendship. And I think she was hurt, but like I wasn't even thinking that time. I was just like care. Like, I didn't really care, which maybe is rude. I don't know.
Hmm.
But it was just like I was such a different person. Like I changed. Maybe I was more myself or felt like I could express myself more. And so I was just like, I let go of that relationship. And then I feel like that happens after high school as well. And probably after seminary or college, maybe.
That you kind of let
Did
go
you have
of
that
friendships
experience?
because of like the transitional periods
Yeah.
in your life? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I had that exact experience, but what do you
Like
were
just
those,
growing apart from someone, and it's
Yeah.
not like crazy. It's just like you grow apart.
Yeah.
You're in different stages of your life. But in seminary, I had that also with a friend.
Yeah.
And she
is
wasn't in the same seminary as me.
You always accepted that with grace. Like you always felt like this was kind of what life
Well,
this is
I'm
what life
talking
is. And that's that.
Well, what I'm talking about
You never
is like,
fought against that.
well,
or tried
I guess I
to.
tried.
Yeah.
But it was just like when you're not in the same headspace as someone else, it's very hard to be friends with them.
Yeah. But I think if we have like a conclusion or like almost like a, I don't know, an accumulated piece of wisdom from our experiences with friendships endings and things like that, what would you say?
I guess my takeaway is just like life happens, and obviously it's always good to have like at least one good friend around. I mean, for me, that's enough, a quality friend.
It didn't used to be.
No.
Which is, I think, something that's important to point out.
Exactly. And then I think it just in general, like in high school and in your teenage years, the quantity of friends is just so important. And then you realize that quality just makes your life so much better than the quantity.
I think what happens, I'm like, me and Rivka, I know some friends like are really touchy. Me and Rivka like don't ever like touch each other where it's like hugging or like cuddling or anything like that. So whenever we do, friends do that, by the way.
That's weird.
Well, it isn't. It's just a different type of friendship.
Yeah, I'm not very touchy.
No, we like never ever.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. Whatever. But anytime like I just reached out and like tapped Rivka and she like completely stopped. It was like,
Recoiled.
what the hell was that? Yeah. Physical touch. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I think what happens is when you grow up, life doesn't get shitty, but real life hits you in a way where you have to just live life in like the realest way possible. I know I just repeated myself. But when you do that, all these kind of facades of what you think is important really fall away.
Mm-hmm. And
the facade of needing a certain reputation amongst people or a certain number of friends to prove your worth or to prove that you're, I don't know, good enough, that kind of falls away. And not necessarily do you feel like you're good enough. Maybe that just hits you harder now. And that's something you have to deal with. But I think that's what happens. It's like you grow up, which is what's happening to us. Really,
right.
We're growing up.
It's kind of a breath of fresh air. It's kind of such a relief. As much as it's like sad, like looking back, that was another thing we were going to talk about, like that it's sad that like you think back about your relationships that you had and like, okay, they're kind of not as strong now. But in a way, it's also it takes off so much pressure.
Yeah.
Like my standard of friends is like just higher.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that I'm comfortable with, I can share anything with. Yeah. I just like don't have to prove myself to you. Then like we could be great friends.
It's also, you have a certain, at least for me, and tell me if this is the case for you, you just feel okay.
Yeah.
You just feel like you're okay and you don't need this person.
Right, because like suddenly like these expectations, sorry.
No worries, you're fine. Just turn the damn thing off.
Throw my
I was to whip it out. Yeah.
There's no river, but yeah.
There's a raging river all of a sudden outside. Raging river of cars.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
You just feel okay, and I was saying how you just feel like you're like you.
Oh yeah, like it's just like chill, like nothing.
It's just chill, man.
It's just chill. No, I'm saying these like friendships are not like your real friendships obviously mean the world to you.
Yeah,
but you can discern between the real and the fake.
Yeah,
and really, really like anyone who's listening to this, their takeaway should be that like if you're in a relationship, especially when you're a little bit older, obviously teenagehood, it's harder to discern. So just go through the teenage years, figure it out. And after,
just
when you're in your
go through it, close your eyes, and just wish it's over. That's all.
when you're in your 20s and like if you are in a friendship that's like you don't feel yourself, you don't feel comfortable being you, you don't feel like you feel like the other person will judge you, like you could be friendly with that person, but don't feel that like pressure to like save the friendship. Like it's not meant to be.
Yeah, but I the thing is, I wish you could just. That's wisdom that you've gained post those experiences. When you don't have that like internal security at that time, we cannot sit here and tell you don't feel that. You know what I mean? Right. And I don't think you're trying to say, oh, don't feel that. What I'm saying is there's a certain amount of self-worth that I think that person doesn't realize that they're missing, or that they don't realize that they have, and they don't, that they could have. Yeah.
And I think that's probably the second or maybe the first takeaway is like, if you're going through that, it's normal. Everyone does. And then you'll reach a stage where you're just like over it.
Yeah. Although there's definitely problems with hyper independence now, because people have become so, people have internalized that message so much of feeling like they have to be their first best friend, which is a really important thing, I would say. And I agree with you. But to the point where now it's almost like they can't be vulnerable in relationships because they've become so okay with being by themselves, okay with their stability, and okay with their structure, that they can't do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess anything to the extreme is like too much.
Yeah,
I'm not saying to like be like F everybody and I don't care about anyone, but like,
I mean, that's the thing. You can't just say. I don't think you're just saying, but I'm saying you can't just say be this, but also be this, be this, but also be this. You have to recognize. I think it's just, at least what I try to do is just recognize how difficult all of this is.
Yeah.
And just,
right.
And I think everyone is so lonely. I just think everyone is so lonely all the damn time. Maybe not you. You're looking at me, you're like, I am fine.
No, I mean,
and
I don't know.
It's true.
What do you mean everyone? I also don't like absolute statements. Like everyone's so lonely. Like that's
I know you don't like absolutes because you like when everything, you could like prove it points, which makes a lot of sense because you're a reasonable thinker. But I think that I obviously I don't know everyone. I don't, so I can't say everyone. But most of the people I met my age, or most of the people I interact with online, whether that's personal or just kind of TikTok space, just deal with like deep feelings of loneliness because they don't feel like they're seen or they're understood or that they're taken care of or cared about.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is like more like just because you had a friend for a long time.
Yeah.
And now you're realizing that it's not a good friend.
Yeah. You're like, freaking relax. I'm just talking about this one time.
No. Okay. I want to say something to your point. I'm saying that like, then it's okay to let go of that relationship, because sometimes it feels like it's not okay because you've had this friend for so long, and like, where are you going to find friends? And at the same time, it's also important to socialize and like go to social events and like meet people in real life, not just on Instagram and all that stuff, because it's important to be out there.
Yeah. But think about it like this, but both. Like I would think about it like this. It could be, and it feels like it. And that's something that I mean, talking even for myself and my own experience. The thing is, being hyper independent, or just being independent and making yourself priority and making yourself your one true best friend where you feel comfortable and feel enough in that sense, I think is really important. But don't lose the importance also of being vulnerable in social spaces. And I know a lot of the reason why people move towards hyper independence is because they've tried that game. They've tried to be social, or it just doesn't work for them, or they just don't feel like those connections are happening for them, or they're not making those friends, or they don't have those friends. Right. And I think that if you want a connection like that to happen, the only way it will is if you put yourself out there and go through those like really shitty, just like, wow, I'm never going to have a connection. I'm never going to have a group of friends that really care about me. It's just to like really put yourself out there. And that is like, I think one of the hardest things ever.
It is. And I think I agree with you that people should put themselves out there and like not stop themselves from socializing. And we're kind of like agreeing in the way we're like, don't get just comfortable in like your relationships, or just comfortable in like being alone or like whatever. For sure.
I also think, by the way, you have to think about it in the way that the world is losing out on you.
Oh, pulling out the inspiration.
No, but for real though, because someone might be so awesome,
right?
Especially if people are like,
or someone else might be lonely, and you could be the one.
Yeah, you can be benefiting not only from yourself, but that person could make an awesome friend, which you probably are. Like those people, I feel like a lot of times those people that are really independent and like get shit done and just are okay with themselves, they're usually awesome people, and people that people probably would love to be friends with,
right?
You know, so like don't make the world lose an opportunity to be friends with you.
But also it's okay if you just want to be like, I'm done socializing, because that's kind of the space where I'm at. Like I'm not making new friends these days.
Yeah, you're definitely like, okay.
Also everyone's different. Like, you know, like, but if you really feel lonely, then yeah, you should go out and try to socialize and find new friends. Yeah. And don't stay in relationships if you're feeling lonely just because you have, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have friends and you feel lonely, that's not a good sign.
That's a big indicator of that you're not in good relationships. Yeah. And that by the way, talking about I know now everything comes out.
Yeah, it's fine.
We should do the rapid fire. It's just I've had that experience in my life before where I've looked at around, you know, months after being friends with like a certain group of friends, and I'm like, wow, how come I feel this way? If I supposedly have this number of friends, how come I feel like I don't have friends? And I think that it's because the nature of the friends that I had weren't actually good friends, or people that, and maybe I was exactly the same way, which is probably the case. But I think one of the things that you could do to become, or to kind of fix the problem of the fact that everyone feels so lonely, and I'm putting quotation marks around the word everyone, is to be the kind of friend that you always wanted or you always would want.
But yes.
So I think that,
but also like be true to it. Don't force yourself to be a friend to somebody, because that goes.
No, what I mean is taking on traits of being a good friend, of listening to people, of giving them the space to be who they are, and to just, honestly, I think it's a matter of just giving that space, like being a listener. I think is a really important character, a really important character trait of friend.
Being also a communicator.
Yeah. Listener, communicator.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
It's the balance.
I don't know.
No, but yeah, for sure.
I don't know how you got the message that I'm trying to force people to be into friendships that they don't want to be. Don't be friends with anyone. In fact, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if there's a friend that you would really, you just don't vibe with, that's fine. People don't vibe with people all the time. I'm not saying you should be friends with them. Communicate then. That's what a good friend would do.
Right.
That's what a good person would do.
Good person.
Say like, hey, dude, I'm just not into anime and manga and nerdy books. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. I'd rather smoke weed all day. Right. So go get some other friends. And the guy's probably like, screw off. I just like you though. You know?
You're like, too bad. I don't want to be friends with you. Stop talking to me about your problems with your mom.
Whatever. So yeah,
don't be mean.
Don't be mean.
See, where's the balance? I don't know why I'm talking like that.
I don't know where the balance is. You find the balance.
Anyways, well, if you're a 23-year-old, 24-year-old going through this, we hear you and we feel you.
Exactly. And we love you. Well, maybe not Rivka, but I love you. I love you.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know you, but
Rivka is like,
I love you.
Rob, if you're listening to this, we don't love you. The policeman.
Oh, yeah. No, we do. I don't want him to like come down.
How come every time I say his name, sirens pour through the windows?
So true.
But I will say this, Rivka. What? You are not a physically affectionate friend.
You're going to tell me that you're not a good friend. I think you're going to be like, you're not a good friend. Because because I agree with that in the other way, inverted. Like, you're not a good friend.
Wow. You just damn yourself with these things. You cannot. They just don't come out well. It's okay. Trying to say I'm not a good friend by saying that. Do you agree that I'm not a good friend? Because I agree that you're the inverse of that as well. Like, what the fuck?
That's actually a really smart way of saying it. You know?
Yeah, no, brilliant.
Like,
so smart.
Inversely agree. That should be a phrase. I inversely agree.
Yeah. That's
or just vice versa. Is kind of the way to say it.
Yeah. No, I was going to say that you're not a physically affectionate friend or a verbally affectionate friend. Or not friend, person, I think in general. Which is just something I thought I should let you know about yourself.
Right. No, it's true. But you're
I'm pretty I'm not physically affectionate, but I'm pretty verbally affectionate.
I feel like not.
I feel like inversely agree with you there.
Inversely, yes.
Just do the rapid fire. We gotta wrap this up. Yeah,
let's do it. No,
I'm so excited actually. Okay, so really quick answers, right?
really quick answers,
Okay, let's go.
and we're gonna hold you to it.
Okay, great.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Probably not so
Inversely.
great then.
Give me a second.
Sure.
What is your favorite month? I just searched this up.
Okay. Honestly, probably December.
Really?
Yeah.
Like cold?
Yeah.
Favorite? Oh, we'll do some baseline. Favorite color?
I kind of blue.
Favorite? That's, by the way, you know it's most people's favorite color. You're not
Oh,
special.
it's so ununique.
What is your favorite food?
I don't know. I love salmon.
Yeah, with lemon.
Yeah, with lemon. Oh my gosh, not right. That was Yosef's favorite food also.
It was so funny.
But he didn't have it
I
with
thought he was gonna be
lemon.
like steak, and he's like, yeah, some salmon with some seasoning. Okay,
Yeah.
what's your favorite pastime?
I like listening to music.
Really?
Yeah.
Just as a pastime?
Yeah.
What was your favorite subject in school?
English.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's your favorite movie?
Oh my god, I feel like this is so boring. I'm so sorry. People are gonna want to listen to this.
Why? This is bad. Is it bad questions?
No, I just feel like this is boring.
But we did it last week.
I know, but yours was less boring for some reason. This is boring. We'll do like a different thing for me.
What do you collect?
Heck, I don't collect anything.
Memories.
Hearts.
You're right. I should have prepared better this. But what's your favorite movie? I want to know.
My favorite movie. Oh my god, I can't pick one. Are you kidding me? Either Manchester by the Sea or
Really? I never watched that.
or Lost in Translation is a really good one. I love 50-50. Whiplash is an amazing. Whiplash probably is
Really?
one of my most favorite
I've never heard
movies.
of any of these movies.
What the heck is wrong with you?
What's Whiplash about?
Oh my god, it's amazing. Oh my gosh, it's amazing, Rivka. It's about a drummer, like a drummer, you know? And he it's basically him trying to sustain a position in a really prestigious band.
Oh,
in
that sounds
college.
fun.
It's amazing. The tension you feel,
watch
it's scarier than any
Is
thriller.
it like the tension? Remember we watched Cinderella Man?
Yeah. Even more tense because it's about a little bit of an abusive relationship he has with his instructor named Fletcher, who's crazy. Who literally throws like chairs at people's heads in the band.
God.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue this rapid fire, or you want to?
Yeah, sure. Let's ask like one more question.
Okay, because I'm actually finding the list that you found last time.
Okay, sure.
How often do you floss?
Not enough.
That's not an answer, but okay.
I mean, it is.
What is your bed made right now?
Yes.
If you could afford any car, which one would you drive?
Tesla.
Ah, same answer as me. Have you ever written a song for someone?
No.
Yeah, right. That was such a lie.
No,
Is it
I
about
haven't.
me?
Not. The not good friend who doesn't like a physical touch. And
Yeah, she's writing songs about me. What is your hidden talent? You could draw pretty well.
I could draw a little bit.
Pretty cool. But sorry, I answered the question for you. What's
Yeah.
your hidden talent?
I don't. Yeah,
You
that
sing also.
that. Yeah, I can.
Me and
I
Kai
can
used to
keep
do
it to me.
karaoke all the time.
Oh my god,
Those
were
days.
fun. And
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Slow down, a crazy child. We're not gonna take
Don't
that
you
out.
hate that?
I don't know why. I just
We're not
decided
taking
to.
it out. That's staying in. It's being clipped on Instagram.
Oh my gosh, viral.
Google viral. And
Yeah.
20K views.
Amazing.
Okay. Where would you prefer to go on a first date?
I like really, really chill things. And if it's a bar, then it has to be kind of quiet and cozy. If it's outside, I like that too. I don't need anything. Like I don't
you
don't
just
need
wanna-
anything.
Yeah. First,
I
you
just need a
wanna,
comfortable
talk.
space and the person.
Right. The person is important.
I don't need anything. Like, don't even come to the date.
Just
Don't
pay for my drinks.
just send me a car and I'm good.
I'll marry you.
It's a little bit much.
If you were to write a book, what would you write it about? A girl finding herself in the world of chaos.
That's exactly what it would be about. I guess what could it be about? My personal experience. I'm not an expert.
Oh, you would
on
write
anything.
a book about yourself. Like I'm saying, it could be a novel also.
Oh, I don't even know why I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
For sure, a novel of some sort.
About what? Werewolves?
No, probably about nothing too crazy, nothing too like fantastical. Probably something about a religious girl.
Right.
Something that like echoes a lot of my experiences because it's
Right.
really fun to do that in
Yeah.
creative writing.
To like just express your thoughts, but like it's not about you.
Yeah,
you have to,
it's not about me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quotations.
That's what, by the way, I'm in a creative writing class and everybody's story. Everyone
is about them?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's not really, right? Because they won't ever say, but most characters that you create are kind of like the same gender or the same
right
age
also,
range
you have to, like,
of the
relate
person.
to the emotions of the characters.
Yeah. That's why I find it
That's
really
why I
impressive.
always wonder like how like older people write stories about like teenage love and stuff like that.
Oh, well,
I mean,
I find it even more impressive when a younger person writes an experience of an older person.
I mean,
because
that
they have
too.
not
Does that
gone through
happen?
something like that.
I feel like that doesn't really happen. Most writers are like older, I feel like. They've been through like experiences.
Because it's so tough to be known as a writer that at that point, if they're famous, it's
okay.
because they're, you know,
right.
They've done writings forever, for sure. I don't know. I mean, I know there's he's not famous, but he's a screenwriter in my class. He's been trying to write about Lee, the homeless guy, and he's a lot older than he is, which is cool. That's why he's, I'm like, this is a little different.
And he's good, and he's good at describing it.
It needs work. Needs a lot of work.
Okay.
But
it's cool that he's trying.
It's cool. I commend his effort.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was really fun. Thanks for the rapid fire.
Sure. I feel like I could have prepared better. Maybe I'll prepare next week.
Yeah, we can keep doing like these things.
I feel like we should switch up the games. I don't think we should rapid fire
no more rapid fire. Like
you just went from like maybe we could keep on doing rapid fire.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was saying maybe we could do something where it's like a switch off of like get to know you, get to know me, get to know you. Yeah, because I mean, even though I know you really well, I never knew you eat rice and peas. What the hell was that?
Rice and peas are
like,
so good.
I think about that now a lot. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, bye guys. Thank you for listening.